Hey Danny, how you doing, man?
Headmaster, sir. Good evening, sir. Come to give me a caning, sir. Would you like that, sir?
Very good. That was very Stewie Griffin in a very strange way.
Headmaster, sir. Good evening, sir. Come to give me a caning, sir. Would you like that, sir?
Yeah, flawless.
Yeah.
I have no trouble believing that you are, in fact, Seth MacFarlane.
Yep. I mean, there's better people to be, I guess. He can sing
He's all right.
in a sort of very basic Frank Sinatra sort of way.
I think he's a bit better than Frank Sinatra, but yeah, I think he's quite a good singer.
Oh, don't let every old man in Scotland hear you say that, Lewis.
Does every old man in Scotland have a deep fondness for Frank Sinatra?
Beyond Sinatra, fuck shit.
I see. Well, thank you for explaining that in such beautiful detail.
My brother would be rolling about in his grave. Your brother's still alive, Mark? Yeah, but in case you couldn't tell, we're doing Doctor Who Season 3, Episode 10, a very subtle and family-friendly title, The Family of Blood. So,
Oh, very nice.
yeah, it may as well be Death to All. That should have been the title.
Lots o' death.
Yes, I love that pub. And it was written by Paul Cornell, directed by Charlie Palmer, and is starring David Tennant, Freema Agyeman, Jessica Hines, Harry Lloyd, Rebecca Staten, and Thomas Brodie Sangster.
Indeed it was. Good for them.
Am I boring you, Lewis?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's early, folks. 2 p.m. It's...
Have you got an opening statement then, Cocker?
Yes, I do. An emotional end of a two-parter that makes me think of the Doctor as a villain way more than a hero.
Very true.
Do you have one?
Yeah, sorry. I was just
Yawning
I
again?
thought that was it. I was just like, yeah, no, I was drinking some water. I do have an opening statement. I see what you mean about what you're saying about how he's sort of presented as a villain. I think it's for me, it doesn't hammer home so much villainy. It hammers home the idea that he's completely different from everything I know.
Yeah.
It's that's what it sort of hammers home for me. The idea of it's like in The Mandalorian. Couldn't you just stay in this village, take your helmet off, marry that pretty woman, drink spatchka for the rest of your life? And he's like, no, I would literally never do that. But that's sort of the dream for most people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it sort of hammers home for this episode for me, is the idea that this sort of living a very fulfilling life with someone you love and having children and having a house and a career and all the rest of it, that's something that people want and people love. But it's something the Doctor can't even conceive of. Falling in love didn't even occur to him. What kind of a man is that? Do you know what I mean? It's something that's hammers home how utterly different he is.
Yeah, and he has already fallen in love, so I don't know how... Like, he fell in love with Rose.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Maybe it's, I'll never fall in love again because I'm such a edgelord. Maybe.
I'm so sad from Rose that I will never fall in love, ever.
Ever again.
Clearly that's his MO.
Maybe. But I guess we're in the creepy room questions part now.
Yes, I suppose we are.
The scenes inside the little girl's house are like the best in the entire episode, because it's just this sort of battle between Martha, who's essentially responsible for getting rid of a life, which is a horrible position to put someone that you consider your friend in, I guess. And I know it's like, oh, he's hiding from them and all that, but then we find out at the end of the episode he was just being kind. Like, what?
You say that with derision. Do you not like that twist?
I do. I get that he's an alien, and I get that, it's all sort of, oh, you thought him hiding and letting innocent people die was bad. Well, wait until you find out what he does if he just dealt with them like he could in the first place. Like, So
I didn't actually. Yeah.
it makes no sense. It's like, I get it's trying to be cool, and I get that it's like the Doctor's an alien, and we can't really understand his sort of way of looking at things. But surely it would be kinder to imprison them like he did and let them die out, rather than waiting for them to die by putting innocents in danger and continuing to allow them to just run amok and kill anyone to find out where he is. You know?
Yeah.
That's why he comes across as like a villain. It's like, well, you weren't being kind because so many people died because you just didn't. Like, he literally. Do you know what it's like? Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when people talk about the resurrection of Jesus, right? Because on the face of it, right, it's
right.
Jesus dying for our sins and all that, and then being resurrected. But when you think about it for more than 2 seconds, what it essentially is God coming down in human form, getting tortured and killed, and then sort of realising, oh, I forgive you, and then going back up to heaven. It's like the entire exercise is like just pointless, because God could have just went, yeah, I forgive you, immediately, rather than having to torture himself in human form and then go back. So why didn't he just imprison them and let them die out, rather than turning into a human, getting himself tortured with feelings of love, and the horrible scene where he's like screaming because of how much it hurts. It's like, it's so weird and gross.
That is a very good point. It is utterly pointless, which is something I've never considered. If he'd have just let it run its natural course, because it also doesn't, in order to protect them, to be kind to them and protect them from the wrath of the Time Lord and all the rest of it, he doesn't necessarily need to turn himself into a human or all the rest of it. You could just shoot them in the head. That would would that not be kinder than torturing them for eternity?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When you take a step back, that whole aspect of he was protecting himself, protecting us to be kind to us, it doesn't really make much sense.
No.
Which is something I've only just realised when you said it.
And he forms this emotional attachment with another human being, and then after killing him off, he asks her to come with him.
Yeah.
And sort of evokes stuff of like John Smith, and saying, oh, he's in here somewhere, I'm capable of all that as well. That is so weird.
It's sort of manipulative as well.
Really manipulative.
Because the Doctor knows. It's saying, essentially, John Smith is sort of is a slice of the Doctor.
Yeah.
It's sort of, he shaved off a slice of the Doctor, and that's the human that was running around. But to say that, like, John Smith is in here and I can be him, it's short. Is it not like saying to a partner, I can be a better person, I can be faithful, or I can, and all the rest of it. But it's like, well, why didn't you just do it then?
Yeah.
If you want to be this better person, if you want to be this version of yourself that's better, why not just do it? Why do you need the excuse of Joan Redfern?
Yeah. I mean,
the Doctor is kind of a bit of a dick in this episode.
I mean, the direct correlation would be if, like, I killed someone's partner and then was like, I'm capable of all that too. It's like, it's so weird.
Yeah, it's because they look the same. You sort of you forget that he is functionally killing someone. Yeah.
I kill my twin brothers. I kill my how do I word it?
You kill your twin brother and then appeal to your twin brother's girlfriend and say, I can be like him. I can be just as much the man that he was.
I'm capable of all that, you know? I mean, I've went travelling for years, and the last person I formed an emotional attachment to has been trapped in another world, but I'm capable of all that. It's so weird. And Joan says it like, point blank. She's like, if the Doctor hadn't chosen this place on a whim, would anyone have died? So it's totally true.
Yeah.
Like, the TARDIS
just picked up like just some random island where he'd be herding sheep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Or no sheep, just nothing. Could have hidden in a cave Like, just anywhere where there's lot, and especially before the First World War, like when tensions are already at their heights and a war's coming a year's time, you pick a military school filled with children who are probably going to inevitably be made to fight if the family finds you. No, fuck that. The Doctor's a cunt. I'm saying it. I'm saying it. Nothing can change my mind on this.
I know what you mean. Nothing can change your mind.
Nah, nothing.
The Doctor donates 100% of his net worth to UNICEF.
What do you mean net worth? He lives in a house.
The evidence is turning towards he's a good guy.
At best, the Doctor is a murdering, manipulative squatter. That's what he is. He stole a house that doesn't even belong to him. He's going about killing all sorts of people and then manipulating the people that's left behind to stay with him because it's a good time. He's a bastard.
Tell us how you really feel, man.
I'm only just sort of realising this now. See, when I have like a sort of a thought that goes a bit deeper and then I start speaking about it, it leads me down this horrible rabbit hole of realising how shit everything is. Darius said something. The book makes more sense. Oh, he's also typing, so he's probably going to be like, "What are you fucking?" It just absolutely the book was
based around the 7th Doctor. Is there much of a character difference between the 7th Doctor and the 10th? I cannot say I know.
Yeah, the 7th Doctor's like a lot more sort of bigger picture kind of rather than human. If you get me, he's much more alien. Which I guess makes sense, but like. You know, I don't know. I just find it a bit weird.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. It is a bit sort of creepy and gross.
Yeah.
is the idea that comes to mind. It's even more creepier and grosser when you think that if the Doctor had to pick someone that would blend in, rather than being just some bloke hiding in a cave, let's just say, for the sake of argument, he had to pick like a village or a town or a city where he had to blend in. Just for the sake of argument.
Yeah.
Okay, but then why would he pick a building full of children?
Yes.
Why would he pick a building full of children that are going to die in the coming years when they're drafted into the First World War?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It just seems a bit
Why would he
weird.
Why would he pick a place where his only companion will no doubt suffer racist abuse from people in the historical period? Like what? Why couldn't it have been a really far distant future where race doesn't even play into people's decision making, and you know, if such a place even exists, it's just really weird.
You're blue. Oh great, we saved a racist.
Yeah, but it's weird.
No, you're completely right. You do raise another good point. He really fucked it up with the picking of the place. Also, I might have missed this. How come the family of blood can travel through time? Can they do it with a lot of precision?
Yeah, it was mentioned at the beginning. Sound technology. Right. That's it. That was the.
Oh, right. Well, that's a bit shit.
I don't mean to let shit on this episode because I think it's a great episode.
Yeah, me too. It's got 9.2 out of 10 on IMDb. This is pretty good.
Yeah, it's very entertaining, but I think you know the idea that what a terrible circumstance they've managed to get themselves into without any blame being allocated whatsoever. It's like, no, the Doctor could absolutely have dealt with the family without getting a town bombed, children to compromise their moral integrity that they haven't even learned about yet, countless people dead, and to destroy the heart of someone who has fallen in love with a human being, and to make his companion suffer racist abuse and continue to be alienated. It should be proven to Martha beyond a shadow of a doubt at this point that he just isn't into you. You know? Because even when he was a completely different person, he didn't even give you a second glance, which is just... It's horrible. It's really just villainous.
It's a bit horrible, yeah. It's hard to say if it's villainous because... I mean, you know, from a human standpoint, it is villainous. But then you sort of start to consider, well, how much does the Doctor value human life? Because he says he values human life very greatly, but then
Hopefully a
if
lot.
the Doctor's living for 1,000 years and up, what do you mean?
Well, hopefully a lot. Otherwise, what's the point of the character?
Oh yeah, 100. Don't get me wrong, I agree with you. But I'm just simply playing devil's advocate. If, in theory, the Doctor barely values human life at all, beyond I don't know, like the function of a profit-generating asset or a meat shield at the very least,
Yeah.
he doesn't value human life. Then his decisions make slightly more sense.
Yeah.
But just because they make sense doesn't mean they're morally okay.
Yeah, true.
It's still a horrific decision to make.
I mean, there's a great scene in future seasons in an episode called Thin Ice in season 10, best season of the show, and the Doctor, his companion Bill, has seen a person die in front of her for the first time, and the Doctor's like, "What's wrong?" And he can't conceive of
Yeah.
and she's like, "What's wrong? I've just seen a person die." And it's like, "How many people have you seen die?" And he's like, I don't even know. And she's like, "Oh, do you care?" And he's like, "I care, but I move on." And Bill does have the sort of moral high ground, but the Doctor then says something like, "Oh, I can't. It's like, well, you're going to stand here stomping your feet because I'm.
Are you going to move on? I don't have time for the luxury of outrage.
Yes, I'm
because if I take
2,000
time
years
over
old.
this,
Yeah, exactly. So Capaldi does it really well to be like an alien. I think we forget that he is an alien.
Yeah.
And the Time Lords are continuously characterized as a race of people who just watch.
Yeah.
And if they just watch for, billions of years, obviously they're going to be a bit distant. And the Doctor, while he breaks from the mould of that, he's probably still got a sort of inability to perceive feelings in the same way we do, because our lives are so, I don't want to say small, but they're just that we can't comprehend of things that the Doctor has experienced, because we just weren't born into that.
You're right. It's I think it is sort of uncomfortable to watch in a strange way, because you're suddenly out of your comfort zone is the only term I can think of, but it doesn't quite fit. You're looking at David Tennant and he's not the person you thought he was. Does that make sense? It's like he's out of a zone and that makes you uncomfortable. So the words comfort and zone are in there, but he's not the sort of kind, generous Doctor that you've been led to believe. He's actually this very alien creature with morals completely different to your own. And you sort of start to question, well, this sadness that he's exhibiting, this regret, this remorse, is it real at all? Or is this just a show to make Jessica Hines, what's her name? Bloody hell.
Jessica
Joan Redfern better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think it makes you uncomfortable in a very uncomfortable way.
Yeah, very much so. What is the difference between the Time Lords and incredibly wealthy people like Jeff Bezos?
Well, the Time Lords can time travel.
Well, I mean, conceptually,
I'm not entirely sure how to answer that one. What do you mean more specifically?
Well, the Time Lords they have immense power. They're very indifferent and just sort of stay back and don't dirty themselves. Or maybe that's a wrong example. The Queen, maybe she's a better example.
Okay.
You can make moral statements about the Queen, but because it's a sci-fi show, it's harder to sort of justify. It's just a sci-fi show, but it's are the Time Lords a force worth having? If you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. Sort of weighing it up on aggregate, as it were, it sort of makes sense to have the Time Lords knocking about. He has certainly saved a lot of lives. There's no way at all I can prove this, but I would argue that it's the sort of immense guilt the Doctor feels for the pain and suffering in the Time War is sort of balanced out by the good he tries to do now. And I think maybe there's an argument there that he is boots on the ground trying to help, sort of thing, trying to help out and fix things. And what's that Peter Capaldi thing? I'm an idiot in a box with a screwdriver, running through, helping out, which is a terrible line within the episode. But it, overall as a character-defining string of words, it does sort of make sense.
Yeah.
If you consider him to be, an idiot with a screwdriver fixing things, then he becomes a more endearing character. But it's hard to deny his nature as this alien creature, like we've been saying. So, bringing it back round to the Queen, oddly enough, is she boots on the ground helping out? No, not really. Is there something in her nature that means she inherently makes good decisions, or inherently is helpful or is beneficial?
Yeah.
There's an argument there. I'm not sure if I'm convinced, but I know there's an argument there one way or the other. So I do see your point, but I'd say that because the Doctor is trying to do things to better the situation he's in, I would argue maybe he is a good character overall.
Yeah. I guess so.
That was a long way to say a very simple sentence, wasn't it?
No, I think he is a good, or tries to be a good person. But
and at the end of the day, is trying to be a good person is that not 90% of being a good person? Do you know what I mean?
Not if you trying to be a good person is like killing innocent people. It's like, oh no, I've tried again and I've failed.
Well, yeah, that's true, but it's another line from The Politician, a show that you still haven't watched, you big dick.
I know. You need to compel
what
me.
What are you doing with yourself? Watch it, or I will kill your entire family.
Whoa.
Is that a good way to compel you?
For legal reasons, that's a joke, YouTube.
Yes,
Don't take us down.
It's a joke. But yeah, it's a line in The Politician. Ben... Oh, God, I've forgotten his name. He was singing on Strictly Come Dancing at the weekend, and I've completely forgotten his name.
Ben...
But yeah, he... No, it's not going to come to me. But yeah, him. The main character, anyway, is sort of having this conversation with a friend of his, and he's like, I think I might be a bad person. It just doesn't occur to me to make moral decisions one particular way or one particular other way. I want to be a good person, but I don't know if I can be a good person.
Oh.
And he sort of says, so what you're saying is that you want to be a good person? Yeah. Well, is that not most of the way there? Do you know what I mean? If you are presented with decisions and you approach it with the mindset of, I want to be a good person, I want to do a good thing here, that's most of the battle. Actually, making the decision is a small amount of what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Is it, though? Because what is good? Because I'm sure that a fascist believes that they're good. You know? So it's like, I want to be a good person, but their version of good is completely antithetical to mine, you know? I wouldn't see it. I wouldn't see it even remotely as good. I would see it as wickedness, and yeah. So it's like it's like what if you want to be a good person? Well, how do you even know what that means? You know.
So do you think the Doctor considers himself a good person?
I would say so. If not a good person, right? Like morally correct, you know, most of the time. And even if they don't consider themselves morally correct, then they act with a hell of a lot of certainty for someone who doesn't know what they're fighting for, you know.
Yeah, that's very true.
Are you ready for a hot take?
I'm ready for a spicy take.
Okay, the Doctor is responsible for every person that the Daleks have killed.
Every person?
Every
really?
single person, yeah. Or
okay, that is a spicy take.
I'll amend my statement. The Doctor and the Time Lords are responsible for every single person that the Daleks have killed.
Okay, what makes you say that? What's your justification for that one?
Because the Time Lords send the Doctor back in time, and Davros finds out that the Doctor's from a different time in a different world, and on Skaro it's not even believed that there's life beyond the 5 planets or something like that. And Davros takes all this information about the defeat of the Daleks and stuff, and this makes him paranoid, and puts a force field in his chair when the Daleks shoot him, and therefore Davros survives and goes on to create more Daleks, and they destroy whole species.
So the Doctor instigated the chain reaction of the Daleks' creation, then?
Yes.
Okay, well that's depressing.
Yep.
I know what you mean. The difficulty is that Daleks don't have freedom of choice. They just do things, and then they keep on doing things forever. They don't. You can see why it's so easy to write them as an emotionless robot, because they don't really have freedom of choice. They see something different from themselves. Well, I mean, in theory they do, yes, but they don't. Their freedom of choice is there's something different from me in front of it. Out of the many ways at my disposal, how should I kill it? Do you know what I mean? It's not. They don't have a freedom of moral choice. They have a freedom of technical choice.
But they do, because they believe that that's right. Would you commit genocide against the Daleks? Absolutely.
Yes, I would. It's the
Daleks. You know, that's what's so interesting about the Doctor. The whole thing about, do I have the right to destroy an entire intelligent life form? And then 10 seasons later, absolutely demolishes the family of blood and puts them in these horrible torture devices, and it makes that guy a scarecrow and traps a child in a mirror. And
yeah, because it's sort of it's what am I saying? Every moral question comes down to a question of suffering.
Yeah.
And if he's inflicted infinite suffering on the family of blood,
yeah,
they will never die, and they're infinitely in these suffering situations.
Oh my god.
So the scale is already pretty infinitely weighted one way or the other. Do you know what I mean?
Lewis, I am down the fucking rabbit hole now, right? These creatures live for 3 fucking months. 3 months. So you're telling me that these creatures, 3 months old, just come out of the womb evil and want to conquer everything? I mean, I suppose the Daleks do.
The family of blood?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Martha said that they were like mayflies, 3 months, and they die.
Oh my god.
And then the Doctor, rather than sort of containing them, putting them in a little pen or something and letting them die as their natural life cycle would do, he traps them for infinity after having let them destroy an entire town.
Yeah, the Doctor might not be as morally virtuous as you might have thought.
Wow, I think we've done it, folks. I think we're now completely aware of the Doctor's bullshit, and he is the biggest villain that no one. Maybe the 13th Doctor is the only good version of the Doctor that actually considers her companion's feelings. Maybe that's what we've been building up to. You know. Maybe, yeah. I'm Jodie pilled now, or Chibnall pilled, or whatever, I don't know. But there you go. If you hear that vibrating, it's because I'm getting a phone call from the BBC to say, stop what you're doing or we will assassinate you.
The assassins are on their way, Daniel.
Yeah. Do you remember the BBC TV vans that would let...
You have told me about this before.
Yeah.
I've been unaware about it before you've told me it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of a shit way to enforce people to pay the TV licence. To have a TV van roaming the suburbs. Are the police with them, or is it just some guy knocking your door, just Big Ken or something like, hey, get your TV licence paid for? The
Big Ken from 1950s New York.
Yeah, part of the Soprano family who emigrated. Yeah, but with...
to suburban London.
Absolutely. Take that, The Many Saints of Newark. You know, that's the sequel to that.
That's the spin-off that you want. There's going to be a spin-off where Arya is running around wherever she's running around in, doing all her Game of Thrones stuff.
Oh.
There's going to be a sequel to The Sopranos where Tony Soprano's son goes to suburban London and becomes a mob enforcer in suburban London for, I don't know, an offshoot of the Grey family or something.
Yeah.
There's going to be a spin-off of Doctor Who where Jenny, the doctor's daughter from that episode, moves to where should she go to, Dan? Following this theme.
I don't know. She should go to Beyond Scared Straight.
Right.
You know the show where parents put their children into the prison program to scare them. That's where she should go.
I see no flaws with that. Yep. That sounds perfect.
And instead of like human beings, it's like the Slovene or something, and they're like, "You want to end up like me?" Fuck! What a horrible show! What a terrible, horrible show! Rather than like getting like therapy or like get a counsellor or some like social worker to come and try and figure out what's wrong, maybe raise the income inequality in America. Yeah, let's put them in a prison and have prisoners interact with.
Oh God, that's such a because if anything, that's not going to help. That'll make it worse.
No, really, it'd be just.
Oh, good Lord.
Do they know what trauma is? Jesus Christ! But
I think it's time for closing statements.
Yes,
now that we've had such a weirdly heavy episode of whispering into the void.
Yeah, absolutely. My closing statement is: war. What is it good for? For being kind. That's what it's good for, you fools.
My closing statement is: it's kind of fucked when you think about it, innit? This episode.
I bet it was. Did you alter that? Did you score it out? Oh, this is a good episode. And then I start, the doctor's a fucking psychopath, and you're like, oh God, okay, it's fucked up.
The thing is, the depressing thing is, it is a good episode.
Yeah,
it's very enjoyable, and it makes you, the fact that it makes you ask a lot of these questions. That's the entire point of sci-fi, really.
Very much.
Is to make you ask questions that are sort of difficult to think about and difficult to answer, because in a theoretical sense you can have, alright, I've got a gun that'll kill every murderer on Earth ever, should I pull it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can answer these questions with good sci-fi. So I'm glad it's made me think these things, but I'm sad now anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. But there you go, folks. The Family of Blood. Should we do some shilling, Lewis?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay there.
Okay.
We all have Linktrees. Lewis's is linktr.ee/Lewis_Brindley. Mine's is /O'Hiram. And the podcast is /Shouting Into the Void. There you will find our socials, our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube. Go have a look. Give us a subscribe. Leave a comment. There you go. We also have a PayPal donate button, so anything you can spare, anything at all, would be greatly appreciated. We also have Patreon, and we want to take the opportunity, as we do every week, to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons. Chloe.
Thank you.
Darius.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you.
Aditya.
Thank you.
Natalie.
Thank you.
And Dougie.
Thank you, one and all. You make the show possible, and it is absolutely a pleasure to be making this show, so thank you for facilitating that pleasure. If you can come up with a more butchered way to say that, then I will give you £1.
A pounding to the face.
What?
Way. There you go.
For legal reasons, that was a joke.
It was a
Please don't ban
joke,
us YouTube.
Jesus. Don't bring the big man into this, okay? He's been through enough. But yeah, that was the Family of Blood, and I believe the next episode, as we draw near to the end of season 3, is Don't Blink. Don't even blink. Blink and you're dead. There you go.
Yeah, that was a flawless impression of David Tennant.
That was an actual clip from the episode.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So look forward to that, and don't shit in the sink. That's what I heard. I didn't hear the... I missed it. I heard don't, and then I heard ink, so I'm just filling in the gaps, folks.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, thanks so much for listening.
Indeed.
Wait, no. Wait, whoa. I've missed out about 18 layers of shilling, Lewis.
Oh, the tragedy. Go on.
Okay, merch, Teespring, Redbubble. We sell jumpers, tote bags, socks, mugs. Get yourself something nice, because Christmas is round the corner. Or get something for Halloween, because you've got to look good in Halloween. even though we don't do any Halloween merch. And last but certainly not least, we are partnered with an amazing company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and Lewis is going to say some wonderful things about them, all of which are true.
Indeed I am. Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a wonderful, wonderful company run by my wonderful, wonderful wife, in which they crochet, and they're very, very good at it. And if you'd like to keep up to date with precisely what they're doing now and everything that's going on in that little world, you can go to @Number 12 Crochet Avenue on Instagram, and you can check out what's going on over there.
Absolutely, you can. Sorry for jumping the gun there, folks. Danny,
it's your inner socialist stopping you.
Yes, absolutely. My inner socialist just wanted me to rush through that, you know. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you, hear you, smell you, manipulate your feelings next time.
I hope we won't.
No,
Goodbye.
we won't.